Hey guys, welcome to Truth Guitar Method week 3. I can't believe it. It's been 3 weeks since we went live. I'm so excited. My name is Joel. You can call me Joel, son of Caesar. If you have no idea who I am, yes, my dad's name really is Caesar. So today we look into week 3 and we are building upon our guitar routine. Before anything else, on my last video, I kind of forgot to mention, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit a like, and hit the bell so that you are notified of when I'm releasing new content so that I can bring it to you and you can start your lesson and move forward in your guitar journey as quick as possible, as effectively as possible. I am super excited about this channel. I'm very excited because I have a few viewers. I want to thank you guys, the ones that are, watching and been responding and been messaging me and sending me, requests and things that you want me to do and videos that you'd like to see. I just want to say thank you, and I hope that the videos are helping. Before we go to lesson 3, I do want to say a couple things. If you find yourself that you showed up to lesson 1 and by lesson 2 you were no better, you need to ask yourself, how much time are you practicing? And are you really dedicating time to the left hand, time to the right hand, time to making those hands sync together? If you got to lesson 2 and you're about to go into lesson 3 and you're about to watch this video, and by the end of this video, you need to think about this. By the end of this video, if you decide, dude, I can't do that, I'm not ready, then you really need to ask yourself, how much time are you leaving for practice? Guys, the guitar journey is a slow and steady and patient journey. And if you're just doing the minimum of 3 minutes per exercise, guys, it's gonna take forever. It's like you are traveling to Mars in a Prius. Nothing against Priuses. I'm just saying it's not a really fast car, okay? I'm just saying, if you own one, I'm just saying it slowly, okay? It's like you're walking to Mars. There, that's better. I fixed it. Don't go after me because of the whole Prius thing. Now, if you're dedicating 10, 15 minutes to each of the exercises, man, you're there. I know it. I'm confident that you are ready for this next lesson. So remember, be patient, give yourself the correct time, and don't lie to yourself. If you're not ready, don't move on to the next lesson. Don't do it. You're going to get frustrated and you're not going to know what you're doing, and just don't do it. And one more thing, don't forget the metronome. I cannot stop telling you, don't forget the metronome. The metronome is super key in your guitar life, man. 10 years from now, when you are making these videos or teaching your lessons or showing off to your friends because you're awesome guitar playing and they ask you, hey, how did you get faster? How did you get better? You're going to say metronome, so might as well just eat it up. Guys, lesson 3 coming up right now. Okay, so on the left hand, you've been doing 2 exercises for at least the last week. The first exercise, we know it as your finger lifts, which is on the 5th position. And that's where each finger lifts 10 times and then 10 times as fast as you can, and then you switch between the fingers. Then last week, we saw one where it's kind of the same idea, but the fingers are switching simultaneously. And today what we're going to do is, I want to focus on those 2 exercises, and I'm going to give you one more, but what I want to tell you in this lesson, in lesson 3, I want to talk about control. Now, when you do any of these left hand exercises, when you're warming up the left hand, what I want to tell you is control, is that your mind and your body have to be in agreement of what is going to happen. Now, you don't know what's going to happen, but you need to think about it and really kind of like, this is going to sound nuts, but kind of like, almost like speak to your Kylo Ren your finger into doing what you need it to do. So if your focus is, I'm going to move my first finger up and down 10 times, then everything, your mind and your body, every thought needs to be completely focused on just that finger moving. And everything else staying totally relaxed and totally stopped. When you do the two fingers, same idea. You're going to Kylo Ren your fingers into doing what they're supposed to. And you only move the fingers that you know you're supposed to be doing. Now, awareness is super important in these exercises. Be aware of what's happening. In other words, if you're moving your first finger and your pinky keeps standing up for some reason, then you need to be aware that your pinky is out of line. And a way to control it is just come in and until your finger gets strong enough. That's okay. Because right now what you're doing is strengthening each finger independently. Okay? So make sure you do that in the two exercises. Now, third exercise, here's what you're doing. This one is super easy, the easiest out of the three. But it is the most difficult, and you'll see why in a much later exercise, much later lesson. So you're going to do the same thing, fifth position, first string. We're working with the first string. We're not doing anything else. We're not doing any playing. Here's what I want you to do. You're going to put your first finger on the 5th fret, first string. Now with your second finger, you are going to concentrate and control that your first finger is nicely and tightly snug on there. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you are pressing down on this and it is painful, I'm going to tell you one thing. You do not need to press that hard. If I put my finger on the string and I hear this thumping sound, that means it's just relaxed on the string. If I just press just a tiny bit, like imagine your finger weighing something. Say, for example, 2 pounds, and you just put 2 pounds of pressure on there, and you start to get that buzz. That buzz is telling you you just need that one more tiny push. So relaxed. I'm not even using my thumb. So relaxed. Now, that finger is going to stay there. Your other fingers, what we're going to do is we call this, in the guitar world, a hammer-on. Okay? And this is for a much later, but you got to start training your fingers now. And all you're going to do is you're going to hold it, and this hand's not doing anything. And all you're going to do is you're going to bring the second finger, and you're going to hammer it down on that first string. So you hammer 4 times. And then you leave it. And then you do your third finger. And then you leave it. And then you do your fourth. And then you leave it. And then you lift. One stays the same. And you do the second finger again. And then you lift it. And then you do the third. Now notice this time the second finger stayed floating. And then you lift it. And then you do your pinky. That's it. All you're working on is hammering, punching down into the string. Now, it should come with a little bit more force than what you're holding, but you shouldn't be super tense. Tension equals slow movement. Tension equals tough movement. Tension equals sloppiness. Don't be tense. Be super relaxed as you do this. And again, 4, and just hammer. Now, if you're one of those beginner guitarists, but you kind of know a little bit of like those advanced techniques, you know, you're like, oh, I know this. This is like, yeah, I get it. Okay? Don't do that. All we're focusing on is punching, but you need to control and you need to focus on just the punch. Later on, we'll talk about hammer-on and pull-off and how that works, and how 2 works, and how 3 works. But not yet. Focus on just the punch. That's your left hand exercise. Week número 3. Let's go to the right hand. So right now, for the left hand, we talked about control. On the right hand, what we want to talk about is consistency when you play. On the right hand, you have 2 exercises right now. The first one is alternate picking. And if you're doing right hand classical, then you're doing alternate fingers, right? But I said we're fusing, and you got to be able to do that on your own so that these videos will be a lot shorter for you guys. But anyway, so let's continue. So we have the first exercise that you're doing, alternating. Now, if you're struggling with alternating, you are going to want to focus everything on down picking first, and so on, and then up picking, and so on, and then you try alternating. And again, the concept here is to stay even and consistent. So that's left hand. We want to talk about control and controlling those fingers and making them do what you want them to do. On the right hand is staying consistent. It's very easy to get excited and be like, ooh, yes. And then all of a sudden you're just like, that's not guitar playing. That's guitar noodling. And noodling is good, just not when you are in your routine. Okay, so if you're noodling and you're like, not good. Noodling, great after you do your guitar routine. So the routine here is the first exercise right now. You're focusing on alternate picking. Now, there's something I want to show you. Now, there's a lot of different thoughts out there, okay? I've seen guitarists do their right hand consistently while their hand is free floating and their arm is resting on the side right aligned with the bridge, right? So they're free floating and they can motion through everything while their hand is just kind of hovering. That's great. If you are able to do that, fantastic. But I know for a fact that that is one of the most difficult things if you haven't built the muscle yet, because your hand is kind of just, you play and then it just flops around and then you start doing this thing. So what I'm going to suggest is a pivot point. Now the pivot point can come from 2 places. It can come from the palm or it can come from your pinky. Now in my case, sometimes I switch it. It really depends on how I'm playing. And again, this is my opinion. There's a lot of people out there who might disagree. If you are one of those people that disagrees, that's fine. The content I'm still giving you is really good for your hand. And find what works for you. There was a time when I used to think that everything that I did, it had to be done a specific way because somebody told me to do it. But then I realized everyone is different. So it doesn't matter, okay? If this works for you, great. If kind of palming the bridge to get a nice little pivot and more control and able to be more consistent, then pivot with your palm. If pivoting with the pinky and just kind of touching just gently, just to give you that sense of like security when you're alternating, then do it. I kind of switch between the 3, but I'm always aware of what my hand is doing, and that's the key, awareness. If you are not aware of what your hand is doing, you just kind of let it do whatever it wants. So you have to be aware. That way you know how to fix the problem. So let's go ahead and do that, but keep those pivot points in mind. I'm not going to talk about them. I just want to talk about consistency. So the consistency here in exercise 1 is down, up, and staying even. With a pivot point, this will be a little easier. That's consistent. Everything sounded the same. Maybe the up sounds a little light on me, but it's pretty even. They all kind of weigh the same. Like it's not uneven to where it sounds. See, that's uneven. Just imagine yourself walking. Right? You don't walk unevenly. Or maybe you do. I have no idea. But most people walk evenly. right, left, right, whatever. So you do the same thing. So for the first and the second exercise, you're going to stay the same, but you need to focus on being even. The last two videos you've seen, the last two lessons, that's what I talk about, is being even, and it is super important. So nice and slow. And again, you want to bring in your friend. Okay, I'm going to go at 100 right now. You want to start maybe at 60. So the first exercise, you stay even, stay focused, stay consistent, use the pivot point. Here we go. And so on. You do one string after the other. And then the second exercise, you've been kind of speed bursting, right? We talked about eat and pizza. One syllable for the quarter note, the two syllable for the eighth note. So what we're doing is eat, 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 pizza, 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 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Even. Okay, and it continues. Evenness. Now for the right hand, I'm going to give you an exercise that's a lot easier. Why am I giving you easier exercises? I'm going to tell you why. Because the first 2 weeks have been brutal, in my opinion. And so a third exercise at an easier rate would be nicer. So this will be a strumming exercise. Now we're not strumming quite yet, but I want your hand to start to feel loose when you play. So strumming will start from the 6th string to the 1st. Now the idea here is when you play, most people play and they assume strumming is you just go down. The thing is, you don't really go down, you kind of want to go into the instrument. So we hear every single string. Some people are too scared and they go and they miss all the other strings. So what you want to do is go from 6 to 1 straight into it. Now, I don't want you to drag. There is a lesson much, much further where we drag our finger for something special, but not today. Today we don't drag, today we are strumming straight through. And all you're going to do is strum down 4 times. And then you pause for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You repeat this exercise 4 times. 2, 3, 4. Making sure that you hit every single string, but super relaxed. Now, obviously, for a strum, you're not going to pivot. Your hand has to be loose. When you're done with it, you can reverse it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In essence, what we're doing is we're preparing your hand to do tight movements and loose movements. And then finally, after you did down strumming and up strumming, you guessed it, combined. So we're alternating strumming, and again, as even as possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when you are combining, notice how my hand kind of switches direction. You don't want to be like, figure eighting this thing, but like kind of, swivel your hand with the motion you're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of let the pick just drop through. Don't let it hang back. Nice and light. There's no reason to go hard, no reason to do anything like that. And that's pretty much it. Let's move on to the sinking hand exercise. All right, guys, so left hand exercise, control. Right hand exercise, consistency and evenness. All of it must include awareness. Why? So that you know that when you mess up, you know how to fix it. You have to be aware. I'm going to take this moment right now to say, if you have a guitar teacher, they are your teacher. This is supplemental. If you do not have a guitar teacher and you're taking on this journey on your own, do as best as possible. But if it is not working and you have no idea how to fix it, we need to start thinking of finding a guitar teacher who you can take these exercises to, and they can help you figure out what's going on. All right, moving on. So on the syncing exercise, so far, all you did the first week was add a finger on the 5th position, right? 4 times each. So kind of look like this. I'm going to go through it real quick. So first week you did 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then last week we went ahead and talked about how doing that exact same exercise, but then decreasing the repetitions from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. I'll go through it real quick. And so this last week you should have done something like this at a slower rate, remember, with a tempo of 60 beats per minute and then increasing slowly. So it should have gone 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, that's really just one exercise because you do it once with 4 and then you go to 3 to 2 to 1. So today I'm going to give you 2 exercises that are kind of going to help you with the other things that we are doing with the other hands. Now, this is week 3. And week 3, I'm not going to lie, take it easy because week 1 and week 2, in my opinion, are brutal. But you really have to focus on doing them and don't take them lightly. Make sure that you're doing them correctly. So we've been working kind of sideways here on the guitar, right? We haven't really moved around, although I did suggest it. We're not really moving kind of up and down this way. We're moving this way, right? And we've kind of stayed stationary. Well, we're going to stay stationary again, but this time we're going to be moving upwards. Now, since this is week 3, I cut this exercise in half, and I'm going to give you the other half at a later time when I think it'll be more appropriate because it is lengthy and it is tiring if you are a beginner. So the concept here is, remember the first exercise on the left hand where you can't move your fingers? Kind of the same idea for this one. So you can't really move your fingers once you place them down. I guess that's the concept. But we're going to purposely move them because what we're doing is we're exercising our fingers. That's what we're doing. So we're not going to leave them down necessarily. But I will state that if you were playing a song, usually you leave your fingers down to save on that, to conserve that energy of your switching, for example. So let's look at the fifth position, first string. So what you're going to do is you're going to do finger 1 and 2. And on this hand, you'll be doing down on the first finger, up on the second. Four times. Now, if that gives you trouble, then you go back to doing 4. And then 3. And then 2. Until you're able to do it successfully and in time doing 1. So you're going to do the first finger, 5th position, first string, 1 and 2, down, up, down, up. When you're done, you go to the next string. Pivoting on the right hand is a good practice time right now. If you do not want to pivot and you want to freehand it, that's fine. But remember what I said is your hand doesn't have any control. It's just kind of going to float around. And there's a lot of schools of thought in this. And so it depends on what works for you. In my opinion, use a pivot point right now until you can train your hand to move when it's supposed to. So let's do first string, second string, and then the third string, fingers 1 and 2. Remember, finger 1 is down picking and finger 2 is up picking. So we're looking at. Sorry, I apologize for that, but notice how my fingers are going to be moving purposely because we're training them to move independently. Normally, this exercise doesn't look like that. Normally, the exercise looks like this. See how my first finger is not moving? It's stationary, it's there. Why waste the energy? But right now, you're working on finger movement, so you have to move it. When you're done with 1 and 2, you guessed it, 2 and 3. When you're done with 2 and 3, 3 and 4. When you're done with 3 and 4, I'm sure you've already picked up on this, 1 and 3. When you're done with 1 and 3, 2 and 4. When you're done with 2 and 4, 1 and 4, and then you're done. So I'm going to do the entire exercise. I'll go ahead and use my metronome, and you will too. I'll go at 100. You start like at 60 and slowly build up from there. So let's see if I can do this on 1 take. And I won't lie to you, I'll keep saying take if I did it again. So take 1, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 1 and 4. From the first to the second to the third string, 4 times. First finger is down, second finger is up picking. Here we go, man. I'm about to sweat bullets right now. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel the groove when you play. Sync your hands to the beat and. Hey, 1 take, not bad. Don't go that fast. Start slow. Don't even attempt it. Forget that I did it at 100. You go slow. Train your fingers to move and make sure each finger is moving as you go through each one. Now, if you're a guitar nerd and you nailed it and you think you can go more, not only go up to the 3rd finger, but go all the way to the 6th. And so on, 4 times each. Now, when you are doing this, it is super important, super duper important. This takes tons of awareness. Watch my 3rd and my 4th finger. They didn't move. Avoid bringing the fingers back to the neck and avoid doing this thing. If your fingers are sticking out, that's telling me tension. And we talked about tension. Tension is slow, and slow is not good. So don't have any tension. Listen, guys, I'm so excited for wherever this channel is going to go. Again, it's not I don't have a competitive spirit when it comes to pretty much anything. It's about, for me, it's about having fun. It's about doing things right. And it's about focus and getting you the best stuff possible. Now, I'm going to be honest, out there in the YouTube world, there's tons of good stuff, man. You don't have to limit yourself to me. There's tons of good stuff. Like I said before, check out Robert Baker, man. He brings it super awesome. I don't even know the guy. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know that I'm mentioning him. But his stuff is so good. Like, I catch myself watching his stuff during lunch hour or like right before, or like, you know, other times that you have your phone that you're indisposed, you can't move in other areas. Watch Robert Baker's channel. If you don't believe me, watch Tyler Larson's channel, which is Music is Win. Super funny guy, and they've got, man, they have so many cool things as far as the guitar education is concerned. Now, I'm going to recommend another guy, and that is, I believe it's Paul Davids. That dude also brings it, man. He is super good, super clean player. Again, I don't know these guys. They do not know me. I do not have any connection to these guys. But their stuff is good, and I think you should go watch it. Now, if you want to see some good guitar playing and just some funny stuff, is some people to check out are people like Steve Terryberry, Stevie T, super funny guy, awesome guitar player. Another guy is Jared Dines, amazing guitar player. That dude's just like a natural musician overall. So again, don't limit yourself to what I'm telling you. I'm bringing it. I'm giving you the best that I have for any beginner, and I guarantee you, man, you're gonna do good as long as you keep the practice up and you believe in yourself and you tell yourself that you can do it. But don't limit yourself to me. There's other thoughts out there, and maybe their ideas will work better for you. I don't want you to limit yourself. I want you to become a guitar player. So listen, a little later this week, I'm gonna go ahead and drop another video. We'll see what it is. And next Saturday will be week 4, lesson 4. And then I've got some cool stuff coming up that, I can't really share. You just kind of have to come back to check it out. Hit subscribe, hit the bell so you can find out, guys. Listen, I'm enjoying myself so much. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Well, I don't get to see you, man. I'm just staring into the camera and whatever, right? But you know what I mean. I can't wait to see you. Practice. Use your metronome. Stay consistent. Be aware. Stay even. Be in control. Kylo Ren your fingers into submission. And go through every single exercise 3 to 10 minutes per day. You can do this. Peace.